Hello, welcome to my podcast. This is episode number 2. I'm the Butler. I'm a full-time reseller on eBay. Today we're talking about item not as described, buying and selling with confidence. Let's get into it. So I recently wanted to start selling expensive items on eBay, over $1,000, $2,000 items. And I really wanted to make sure I was covered and protected. So I've heard a lot of different problems on eBay about selling electronics and things like that, and I really wanted to make sure I didn't have any troubles. So I started looking at the number one problems to be looking out for, and the first one I came across was people saying they didn't receive the proper item. So an example would be a seller sent a buyer an iPhone X. The buyer received the iPhone X, opened up a claim saying he received a Samsung J or something. I'm not a phone guy. So eBay told him to send the phone back. The seller argued it and everything, didn't get nowhere. He had to accept the phone back. Sure enough, he got a Samsung J back in the mail, and he lost all his money and the phone. And then he made a YouTube video talking about it and warning people about this scam. And I thought to myself, well, that was an easy one to fix right away. I mean, that's an easy fix. I use for expensive items. What I do is I take my listing and I take the sales, the packing slip, and I take that to a shipping company in my area, and they look at the item, they look at the listing and the packing slip, and they in some cases, depending on the cost of the item, they'll photograph the item. They'll have you fill out a shipping insurance form. And then they do signature confirmation and all this. They package the item. I never touch it again. They validate that what the person bought is in the box and going right to them with signature confirmation. So I'm covered. So they can't say that they didn't get the item. So that problem was solved. The next problem I came across that was pretty serious was people saying it was an unauthorized transaction and reversing the payment, stopping payment, reversing it. So in order to get around that, when you sell an item that's expensive or whatever, you don't want to lose, and the payment comes into PayPal, you need to call PayPal. And there's a few things you can do. You can make sure that the payment's secured in PayPal. You can make sure that they're in good standings and validated and verified with PayPal. And if they say that the two things you need to look out for is if they've used their bank or a credit card and they've gone through PayPal. Because once they say that the payment was unauthorized, the purchase was unauthorized, their bank or their credit card company will pull the money right from PayPal instantly. So there's nothing you can do about it. Now, if you've been with PayPal a while, you have PayPal protection, and PayPal won't let that happen. They'll give you the money. They'll give them their money and cover you and then fight for you. So you don't really even see it. But you want to stop it before it gets to that. What you want to do is you want to make sure that if the payment's still in their bank or their credit card and they're just running it through PayPal, you want to make sure that PayPal calls their bank or credit card and says, hey, is this payment authorized? It only takes a little few minutes. Even if it takes a day, you could even put that, you could even write them a letter and say, hey, I'm just waiting for PayPal verification that this payment is authorized. And if they write you an email saying a message through eBay saying that it's an authorized transaction, you could send that to PayPal. But you just want to make sure that the money's secured in PayPal. If PayPal finds out that it's an authorized transaction, they call the bank and they say, yep, it's authorized. Go ahead and ship. Okay, so now PayPal said it's authorized. You're good to go. So at that point, you want to look at their feedback. You want to say what kind of feedback. If they've got one feedback or no feedback, probably might not want to do it. But if they've got a lot of feedback, that's a good thing. So then you call eBay and you say, hey, this guy wants to buy this expensive item. Do they have problems? And eBay will tell you if they have problems or not. So that's another way. And if eBay says, no, they don't have problems, well, that's good. What you want from them is a reference number for your phone call. Because you want to bring PayPal and you want to bring eBay in as allies and partners in this big sale. That way, if anything goes sideways, they're part of it. They're in on it. They were there. So they could be part of the solution. All right, so everybody's validated. Everything's good to go. You've got your shipping company validating the item. You got PayPal verifying their payment. eBay said they're good to go. Their feedback looks good. All systems are green. You're good to go. You're shipping. Boom. Item's out in the mail. All right, so the guy gets the item. And he gets it, and the first thing he does is he writes you a letter. Now, when you order something and it's less than what you wanted or it's not what you expected, you're going to be pissed off, right? I know I am. I would get pissed off if I waited and wait and it shows up and it's a big hole in it or a stain or just something wrong. That's so upsetting. It's like, come on, people, get your stuff together. So when somebody is upset, they're going to open up a return, item not as described, open up a return. Most of the time, people who are legitimately upset will not write you a letter. They'll say, it's complicated. Okay, it's complicated because you do get letters. You get a lot of letters. I understand when people are going to return stuff, they send you letters. The ones I'm talking about are the ones that you can predict, like for instance, when you're selling an expensive item and you're like, this guy's going to try to get over on me. I call it the eBay lottery. He's going to try to play the eBay lottery with me. And, so what does that mean? Well, the letter comes. Hey, I got the item today. Now I'm going to use a watch that I sold as an example here. So I sold a $2,000 watch. The guy gets it and he says, I covered myself just as I explained with the shipping. Everything's covered. I am covered. This guy says, hey, I think the dial on this watch was repainted. He said, now listen, I love this watch, but I just want the original dial. Now the original dial is about $500. What do you want to do? He said, I opened up the watch and everything seems to be okay. It's just the dial's messed up. And I want you to pay for a new dial. He didn't even say pay for a new dial. He just said, what do you want to do? Now, it doesn't matter what you're selling. When these letters come in, like I said, when somebody's legitimately upset, they're going to be like, now they could send you a letter with photos. Hey, I'm pissed off. Look at these photos. Look at this. Look at this. Look, what do you want to do? And at that point you say, hey, open up a return. I'll give you your money, whatever, throw it away. I'll just give you a full refund right now. So a legitimately upset person will send photos and you'll feel their pain in their letter. But a guy going, hey, this looks a little funny to me, or this isn't the right color, or this is weird. What do you want to do to make it right? You'd like, I'll keep it, or I can live with it, but what do you want to do to make it right? Okay, look, anytime they send you a letter asking you to do something, it doesn't matter how small or insignificant it seems. That's an extortion letter. Why is this? Now, some people be like, oh, Butler, come on now. Don't get weird with me now. How is that extortion? Okay, listen. You have seller rating, you have feedback, and you're paying for shipping, okay? Both ways. So anything you say that could make this person upset could affect any one of those three outcomes. All right? So if you don't make this person just right, you're going to pay. That is extortion. You can't win. Now, eBay has created this environment with their item not as described algorithm. Okay, now this is where you could get totally creative and tricky with eBay. And what I mean is when you call them up, you need to talk to them like this. You need to say, look, your item not as described algorithm is creating bad behavior. You're promoting bad behavior. All right, people with just general, like I don't accept returns in any of my stores. I don't accept returns. I'm not shipping stuff all over the world for nothing. Hey, if you want to buy it, I'll ship it to you. But you ain't trying it on and shipping it back. I don't want it back. So I don't accept returns. So it's like, a lot of times they're remorse cases. And it's like, that's... I'm not going to get a negative feedback or a problem because somebody's got buyer's remorse. That's not going to happen to me. And I'm not going to be extorted because of buyer's remorse, because they didn't read the description or whatever the case may be. I'm not here to play games with people. I follow. Now, mind you, all this goes out the window if you do not follow policy and procedure to the letter. Okay? As long as you follow policy and procedure, you have to list your items accurately. Good lighting. I mean, you have to take pride in your store. You have to follow policy and procedure, list things accurately. And for the love of God, when a problem comes in, now remember, problems are just opportunities for good solutions. When a problem or an opportunity comes in, you have to look at it as, did you mess up? What did you do? And that's the first thing I do. I'm my own worst critic. When something comes in, when there's a problem, I look at it like, did I mess up? Now, if I look at that and put myself in the worst spot and I say, I didn't do anything wrong, this listing is perfect, everything is right, this is a buyer's remorse case, or just somebody trying to play the eBay lottery. They're just trying to get a little bit of something out of it. Hey, I'm going to get like $5 for these pants or whatever. They're just trying to play the eBay lottery with you. So at that point, if you know that you didn't do anything wrong and you followed policy and procedure, you met everything you're supposed to, at that point in time, you have eBay seller protection. You have PayPal seller protection. You are golden. You have the green light to say to that person, I stand behind my listing. If you don't agree with me, that's your prerogative, but I stand behind my listing. Now, if they leave you a negative feedback, if they don't do anything, let's say they don't do nothing and just leave you a negative feedback. Well, you call up eBay and you say, look, they wrote me an extortion letter. I told them I stand behind my listing. They retaliated by leaving me a negative feedback. I want it removed. They'll remove it instantly. I've got 2 stores. I've been selling for over 5 years. I've never seen a red negative feedback. I've never even seen a gray neutral. So I don't allow that. I would never put up with that. I'll have those removed. If they've wrote you a letter, you can have them removed. So, and in some cases, even if they don't write you a letter, you can have them removed. But, the first thing you have to ask yourself was, who messed up? Did you or they? If you messed up, you just throw yourself on their mercy and you say, hey, bad week, I'm sorry you pay. I'm going to talk about the returns for a legitimate return. When you acknowledge somebody's pain, they cannot leave you a negative feedback. They will not leave you a negative feedback when you acknowledge their pain. When you say to them, I am so sorry you waited. You were so patient and you waited for this item and then it showed up and it was less than perfect. And, I feel horrible. We're making changes in our store to make sure this doesn't happen. Here's your money via PayPal, expedited, And, I want to thank you for being understanding and allowing me to make this right. Thank you. And, I've never, ever received a negative feedback. Never. It's just unacceptable to me. I've dealt with the hard, and if somebody's just a jerk, I'm going to have it removed. Man, are you kidding me? I've got too much invested with eBay. And I start talking about, you know how much money I pay you, So you're going to make us as a seller and a selling platform, you're going to make us look bad because some goofball was upset because he couldn't get $5 for a pair of, just something, you know what I mean? eBay, and like I said, with eBay, you can't talk to the evening shift. You do this stuff in the morning, and they will work with you. And I hope you guys get what I'm talking about here, about, bringing in eBay as a partner in these sales. Okay, so the guy with the dial on my watch. So he said the dial was repainted and he wanted money. Okay, so at that time I said, I stand behind my listing. Boom, boom, boom. So he opened up an item not as described. eBay, I called up eBay, and I swear I've been doing this for years, and even as much protection as I took, I called up eBay, and eBay said to me, in 3 days, I want you to call up and escalate it. Now, I've been down this road a million times, and I don't know why I'm so confused every time this happens to me. But these people, eBay, when they tell you to call back in 3 days, on the third day at midnight, the stroke of midnight, they will close that case in the buyer's favor. Every time on the third day, they close it. Okay, the way you stop that is by when they open up the item not as described case, you have to leave a comment. In your comment, you want to say, I stand behind my listing, and I would like to I want eBay to step in and escalate this case in 3 days. Now, the computer doesn't care. They don't read those. They don't care. They're going to close it on midnight in the buyer's favor anyway and make you accept it, and then you're going to have to appeal it when it comes back to you. But that's actually a good thing. Okay, so where are we at here now? So the buyer's sending the watch back to me now because I waited the 3 days. I got up in the morning at 6 a.m., but the case was closed at midnight, right? So I call up eBay, and I'm like, wait a minute, you guys told me to call. I'm calling right now to escalate it. Well, you can't. And not only can't I escalate it, I don't even have access to anything because I was closed out of it because it was closed in his favor. Okay, now I'm just freaking out. We're talking about a $2,000 watch. So I'm like, I covered myself. How did this happen to me? I covered myself. Okay, relax, Butler. You got this. Okay, so the watch comes back to me. Now, in the letter, remember I was talking about these letters these people write. The guy said to me, now this is where you guys have to just relax and you have to think about things. The guy said, I opened up the watch and everything seems to be fine. Well, maybe for him. But the problem is when you open up a watch, it is not the way you can't. If there's a problem with the watch, you just return it. You don't take it upon yourself to start tinkering with my watch. The fact that you opened up my watch means you can't return it in the same condition that it went to you. It's not watertight anymore. It needs to be pressure tested. There's a lot of variables that go into this. Therefore, the watch is not in the same condition it was shipped out in, and I haven't even gotten it back yet. And I've already got this case beat. All right? This case is already beat. Now, what's going to happen here? All right, my watch is going to come back to me. All right, I'm going to appeal this case. I'm going to show the guy opened up the watch, and it's not like it's described, not in the condition it went out in. And, yeah, and that's it. They closed the case. They gave me all the money, and I got to keep the watch and resell it again. So, it's like, and then another case similar to this happened to me, and I killed it the same way. So, it's just a matter of, you really gotta be careful with your wording, how you talk to these people, how you respond to these people. You never respond with, well, that's garbage. I did this. I'll give you another example. I sold a digital watch to a guy. All right. It was like a $50, $60 watch. Nothing major, no protection on it. I just shipped it out to him. He said it arrived dead. Well, I had receipts that I just put new batteries in it, and I had a company went through it, they refurbished it, put new batteries in it. It ran great. There was no problems with it. So I called up eBay. The customer service people at eBay said, well, maybe the watch got hit with an electromagnetic pulse in shipping and it killed the batteries. Oh, the guy wanted to return it. He said the batteries were dead. And the eBay customer service guy said, well, it probably got hit with an electromagnetic pulse that killed the batteries, and it's not his fault, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, there again, he said he opened up the watch, he put new batteries in, and it still didn't work. Well, all right, well, why are you opening my watch? Why are you putting new batteries in? Where are my old batteries? I just bought those back. Okay, so the item cannot come back to me in the original way it was. Case closed. So you just have to be smarter than these people. And you also have to remember that these letters that come into you, what do you want to do about it? This thing's messed up. What do you want to do? That's an extortion letter. Even if it's only a $2 item or a $2,000 item. It just depends on how much it means to you and how much time you want to put into it. You know, if it's a $20, $30 item, I just tell them to throw it away. I say, man, please donate it to your local thrift store, and I'm so sorry. Please forgive, and move on. It just depends on the value and how much time you want to waste and put into it. So just remember, there's things you can do to protect yourself. The motto is buy and sell with confidence. And I tell my buyers that too. When they have a problem and I handle it right away, I say, I want to thank you for bringing it to me, and I want you to buy with confidence and buy from me. But you can protect yourselves, and like I said, people with legitimate problems, you know it when they're legitimately, because most of the time it's like, oh man, I did mess up on that. I mean, I sold a pair of pants that were 511 tacticals, and they were clearly black, and I listed them as blue. The guy got the pants, and he's like, yeah, these pants are black. And I'm like, oh my, I did. I seriously sold you a pair of black pants listed as blue. And he was really cool. He sent them back to me because they were expensive. And he was a great guy. And he's, I made a friend. And I don't have any problems. I try to create solutions, not problems. You guys have been wonderful. If you have any comments, leave them below. If I can help you with any of these issues, remember, just relax, take it easy. There's always a way out as long as you're following policy and procedure. Hey, you guys have a great night. Talk to you soon.